I want you to stop for just a second and think about the last time you had rice. Maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was this morning. And if you're over 60, there's a very good chance rice is something you eat almost every single day. It's warm, it's filling, it's familiar, it feels like home. And the last thing I want to do is take that away from you. But here's what I need you to understand. And I say this not to scare you, but because I've seen it happen to too many of my patients. The way most seniors over 60 are eating rice right now is silently working against them. Not because rice itself is the enemy, but because after 60, your body processes it in a completely different way than it did when you were 40. And if nobody has ever sat down and explained that to you in plain English, then what's happening to your blood sugar after every rice meal might be something you don't even know you should be worried about. My name is Dr. Sam Eric, and I've spent years working with older adults, specifically studying how everyday foods affect the body after 60. And I want to be honest with you from the very beginning. This isn't a video telling you to throw out your rice. That would be unrealistic and frankly unnecessary. What this video is going to do is show you exactly how to eat rice the right way. 5 science-backed methods that my patients use to keep their blood sugar in a safe range without giving up the foods they love. And I'll tell you right now, stay with me until method 4, because that one surprises almost everyone who hears it. It's simple, it costs nothing, and it works better than most people expect. I'll get to it, I promise. But first, let me explain why this matters so much specifically after the age of 60. Because once you understand what's happening inside your body, everything else is going to make a lot more sense. Here's something that most people don't think about. When you're young, say in your 30s or 40s, your body is remarkably good at handling carbohydrates. You eat a bowl of rice, your pancreas releases insulin, the glucose gets absorbed into your cells, and your blood sugar comes back down to a normal level relatively quickly. The whole system runs smoothly, like a well-oiled machine. But aging changes that significantly. After 60, the cells in your body gradually become more resistant to insulin. They don't respond to it as efficiently as they once did. At the same time, the pancreas, which is the organ responsible for producing insulin, starts to slow down. It produces less of it, and it produces it more slowly. So the same bowl of rice that your body handled perfectly fine 20 years ago, now it creates a much bigger challenge. The glucose enters your bloodstream faster than your body can manage it. Your blood sugar spikes higher than it should, and it stays elevated for longer. Over 25% of adults age 60 and older are living with diabetes right now. That's 1 in 4 seniors, and millions more are in what we call the prediabetes range, blood sugar that's higher than it should be but not yet diagnosed. Many of them feel fine. No dramatic symptoms, just quietly. Every day their blood sugar is rising and falling in ways that are putting stress on their heart, their kidneys, their nerves, and their eyes. So no, this is not a small issue. But, and this is the part one really want you to hold on to, it is absolutely manageable. You don't have to stop eating rice. You just have to be smarter about how you eat it. And that starts with method 1. The first thing I tell every patient of mine who loves rice is this: cook it the night before. I know that sounds almost too simple, but there is real science behind it. When rice is freshly cooked and still hot, its starch is in a form that your digestive system breaks down very quickly, almost immediately. That means glucose floods into your bloodstream fast, and your blood sugar spikes sharply. But when you cook rice and then let it cool in the refrigerator for at least 12 hours, something fascinating happens at a molecular level. The starch structure changes. It converts into what scientists call resistant starch, a type of carbohydrate that your body cannot fully digest. It passes through your system more slowly, and significantly less glucose enters your bloodstream. A study published in the journal Nutrients confirmed that rice cooled for an extended period, then reheated, had a meaningfully lower glycemic impact on diabetic patients compared to freshly cooked rice. The difference was not small. And the beauty of this method is that you lose nothing. The rice still tastes the same when you reheat it. You just make it the night before, refrigerate it, warm it up when you're ready to eat, and your blood sugar response is dramatically better. One small habit, real results. Now let's talk about the order in which you eat your food, because most people have never thought about this, and it turns out it matters enormously. Method 2 is something I personally recommend to every single senior I work with. Always eat your protein before you eat your rice. Not at the same time, before. When you eat protein first, whether that's chicken, fish, eggs, or lentils, it triggers a hormonal response in your gut that actually slows down the rate at which your stomach empties. It also stimulates the early release of insulin, so your body is already preparing before the rice even arrives. The result is that when the rice does get digested, the glucose enters your bloodstream gradually rather than all at once. Research has shown that eating protein before carbohydrates can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. That's not a rounding error. That's a meaningful difference that compounds over every single meal, every single day. So the new rule for your rice meals is simple. Protein first, rice second. Take a few bites of your chicken or fish or eggs, and then move to the rice. This one sequence change costs you nothing and takes no extra effort. But over time, the impact on your blood sugar control can be significant. Method 3 is about what goes alongside your rice, and specifically, the role of fiber. Fiber is one of the most underappreciated tools we have for blood sugar management in older adults, and the reason it works is straightforward. When you eat fiber-rich vegetables alongside rice, the fiber physically slows down the digestion of the carbohydrates. It's almost like putting a speed bump in the digestive process. Glucose is released more slowly, your blood sugar rises more gradually, and your pancreas has enough time to respond properly. The vegetables I recommend most for this purpose are the non-starchy ones: spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, bell peppers, zucchini, tomatoes. These are low in carbohydrates themselves, high in fiber, and genuinely effective at blunting the blood sugar impact of a rice meal. A good practical framework is what I call the plate method. Fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables, 1/4 with rice, and 1/4 with lean protein. That combination, protein, fiber, and rice together, is clinically proven to keep post-meal blood sugar in a much safer range than rice eaten alone. And speaking of rice eaten alone, I'll come back to that at the end of this video because it's the single most common mistake I see, and I want to make sure you understand exactly why it's so dangerous. Now, method 4. I promised you this one would be surprising, and I meant it. It has nothing to do with what you eat or how you cook it. It's about what you do in the 15 minutes after your meal. Walk. Just walk. I know that sounds almost laughably simple, but the research behind this is genuinely remarkable. A study looking at post-meal walking found that a 15-minute walk taken shortly after eating was significantly more effective at lowering blood sugar than a 45-minute sustained walk done at another time of day. Let me repeat that because it's worth letting sink in. 15 minutes after your meal beat 45 minutes at the gym when it came to controlling blood sugar spikes. Here's why it works. When you engage your muscles, even just by walking at a gentle pace, those muscles absorb glucose directly from the bloodstream. They use the sugar that just came from your rice as fuel before it has the chance to accumulate and push your blood sugar into dangerous territory. Your body essentially burns off the spike before it becomes a problem. And for seniors over 60, this is particularly powerful because it doesn't require intense exercise, no gym membership, no equipment, no pain, just a gentle walk around the block or even around your living room for 15 minutes after you finish eating. I have patients in their 70s and 80s who have made this one change, just the 15-minute post-meal walk, and seen meaningful improvements in their daily blood sugar readings within weeks. It is, in my experience, one of the most powerful and most underused tools in diabetes management for older adults. And then there's method 5, which is about the type of rice you choose. This is an area where a small switch can make a real difference over time. White rice has a high glycemic index, meaning it digests quickly and causes rapid blood sugar elevation. Basmati rice, particularly aged basmati, has a naturally lower glycemic index because of its longer grain structure and different starch composition. It digests more slowly and produces a more gradual blood sugar rise. Brown rice goes even further. It retains its outer bran layer, which is rich in fiber, and that fiber significantly slows glucose absorption. If you currently eat standard white rice every day, simply switching to basmati or brown rice is a step in the right direction. I understand that taste and texture matter, and not everyone takes to brown rice immediately. That's okay. Even switching to aged basmati is a meaningful improvement. And combining this switch with the other 4 methods we've talked about, the cumulative effect on your blood sugar can be genuinely transformative. Now, I want to come back to something I mentioned earlier. The number one mistake I see seniors make with rice, and it's so common and so easy to fall into that I want to make sure I explain it clearly. The mistake is eating rice alone, just rice. Nothing else on the plate, no protein, no vegetables, no fiber to slow things down. And most of the time, it's freshly cooked, hot white rice. That combination, hot white rice, eaten alone, with nothing to slow its digestion, is about the worst possible scenario for your blood sugar after 60. I've had patients come into my office with post-meal blood sugar readings of 250, 280, even over 300 after what they described as a light meal. And when we looked at what they ate, it was a bowl of plain rice. That's it, nothing else. And there's one more thing I need to warn you about, because I see this combination regularly and it's particularly harmful. Eating rice with a sugary drink, juice, soda, sweet tea, any beverage with added sugar creates what I call a double spike. The sugar from the drink hits your bloodstream first. Your blood sugar shoots up, your body scrambles to respond, and then the glucose from the rice comes flooding in right behind it. Your pancreas simply cannot keep up with that kind of demand after age 60. The result is prolonged blood sugar elevation that stresses your organs with every single meal. So please, no sugary drinks with rice. Water, unsweetened tea, plain sparkling water. That's the company rice should keep. I want to end with something I say to every patient I work with when they're feeling overwhelmed by all of this. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to be perfect. What matters is that you start. One method, one meal, one small habit at a time. Cook your rice the night before. Eat your protein first. Add some vegetables to your plate. Take a short walk after you eat. Swap your white rice for basmati. These are not dramatic sacrifices. They're small, sustainable adjustments that add up to a meaningful difference in how your body handles blood sugar day after day, year after year. You've spent decades building habits around the foods you love. I'm not asking you to abandon them. I'm asking you to work with your body, the body you have now, at this stage of life, and give it what it needs to keep you healthy, active, and well for the years ahead. If this video helped you, I'd ask one favor. Share it with a senior in your life, a parent, a sibling, a friend who eats rice every day and might not know any of this. They might be making one of these mistakes right now without realizing it. And if you want to know which 3 breakfast foods are causing the biggest blood sugar problems for seniors every morning, that video is coming up next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I'm Dr. Sam Eric, and I'll see you in the next one.